There are a few simple things you can do every day that bring real happiness to your dog. It might surprise you, but scientists actually ran MRI scans on dogs' brains to find out what makes them happiest. They tested different scents, food, other dogs, even strangers. But the one smell that lit up their brains the most wasn't food. It was the scent of their human. Just your smell. That tells us something powerful. Sometimes the smallest gestures, like the way you look at them, the safe place you give them to rest, or a gentle walk, mean more than all the toys in the world. But here's the challenge. You can't always be there. At some point, you'll have to leave your dog home alone. And for many dogs, that's when stress begins. So today I want to walk you through 20 small things each backed by real science that can bring your dog a little more calm, a little more joy, and a whole lot more connection. They're not expensive, they're not complicated, but they matter. Because behind every wagging tail is a heart that waits for you. So let's begin not with a treat or a command or a leash, but with the one thing your dog loves more than anything else in this world. Number 1. Let them smell you. Even when you're not home. Let's start with something most people overlook because it's not sold in stores. It's not in a bag or on a leash. It's in the air. Your scent. To us, smell is just background. Maybe a whiff of coffee in the morning, or the dusty comfort of an old leather chair. But to your dog, smell is a language. It's their first memory of you. It's the trail they follow in their mind when you're gone. It's the reason they curl up on your side of the bed the minute you walk out the door. Science has a name for this. In an fMRI study where they scanned dogs' brains while letting them smell various things, the strongest reaction wasn't to bacon or another dog. It was you. Your scent lit up the reward center in their brain. The same place that fires in our own heads when we see someone we love or hear a familiar voice after months away. That means your smell isn't just familiar to them. It's medicine. It's memory. It's home. And yet when we leave the house, we take it all with us. The sweatshirt, the voice, the energy. We shut the door, and the one thing they crave most fades with us. But here's the quiet fix. The small thing only 2% of owners seem to know. Leave a piece of yourself behind. Not in some grand gesture, not in a dramatic goodbye. Just a worn t-shirt on the couch, a pillowcase you've been sleeping on, something that smells like you before the world got on you, because to your dog, that smell says, "You're safe. I'll be back." And the moment they smell it, their tail doesn't just wag. Their heartbeat slows. They settle, and they wait. It's simple. It's free. And it works, again and again. But what if that scent isn't enough? What if they still pace the floor when you're gone? Still whimper at the door? Well, that's where we head next. Because while your scent can calm their heart, there's a sound that can soften their whole world. Number 2. Play classical music. When you leave. There's something eerie about a silent house. No footsteps, no hum of conversation, just stillness. And for a dog waiting behind the door, silence can stretch out like an empty road. That's where sound becomes more than background. It becomes company. Now, not just any sound. A loud TV blaring sports or talk shows. That's just more noise. But classical music, that's different. It moves like breath, rising, falling, never shouting, just being. Scientists tried this out in kennels. Real dogs, real stress. They set up speakers and played different kinds of music. Heavy metal made the dogs shake. Pop didn't do much. But classical, suddenly, something changed. The dogs barked less. They paced less. And the most telling sign, they slept. Not passed out from exhaustion. but actual, peaceful rest. Their hearts beat slower. They settled into their bodies. It was as if the music told them, "You're not alone." And maybe that's what it did. Because your voice can't be there all the time. But music, especially the kind that floats like a lullaby, can fill the space between you and the door. It gives rhythm to their waiting. It softens the sharp edges of silence. And yet most people leave the house without a second thought. Keys, wallet, lock, silence. But you can be different. You can press play on a sonata and leave behind more than just scent. You leave a feeling, a warmth that holds them until you return. Still, music has its limits. Even Bach can't outlast anxiety. If your dog is stuck with the wrong kind of toy, you know the one they destroy in 10 minutes, and then sulk for hours. Which brings us to something most dogs crave more than squeaks and flashes. Something they can chew. Something that lasts. Number 3. Give them something that lasts. Some dogs shred toys like it's their job. You toss them a squeaky duck, and 3 minutes later, you're sweeping up the stuffing like fallen feathers after a storm. It's not that they're angry. It's that the thrill is too short. They need something that fights back gently. Something that doesn't vanish just as they're beginning to relax. That's where the long-lasting chew comes in. Not just a treat. Not just a toy. But something in between. A bone that takes its time. A frozen Kong with peanut butter deep inside. A textured chew that satisfies a need older than memory itself. You see, when a dog chews really settles in, paws, planted eyes, focused, they're not just snacking. They're grounding themselves. The pressure of jaw to bone, the slow rhythm of gnawing it, releases endorphins. The body's natural calm-down chemicals. It's like a glass of wine for the canine soul. One study even put it to the test. They gave dogs 3 options when left alone: a toy, a treat dispenser, and a chew that lasted. The winner every time: the chew. The dogs were calmer, quieter, and more emotionally balanced. And for someone like you, who might be gone for hours, or just needs your dog to feel settled when you're not there, that's gold. It's not about spoiling them. It's about soothing them, giving them something that stays when you can't. But even the best chew has an expiration. Eventually, it's gone. And that's when some dogs start pacing again, or worse, digging, barking, destroying what's left. So here's the twist. What if I told you that the key isn't giving them more toys, but less, or rather, just one at a time? Number 4. Rotate their toys like they're new again. Imagine if someone gave you every gift they plan to buy for the next 5 years all at once, and then walked away. At first, your heart might leap. So many choices, so much excitement. But within days, weeks, you'd stop seeing the magic in any of it. They'd all blur together into clutter, background, noise. That's what it's like for your dog when every single toy is always lying around. The new squeaky one gets one glance. The puzzle you spent too much on, half chewed, forgotten. Not because they're spoiled, but because novelty fades fast, especially when it's always there. But here's the trick one that doesn't cost a dime and feels like a little bit of magic. Take the toys away. Not forever. Just most of them. Tuck them into a drawer, a bin behind a door. Then, every few days, bring one back. Like a memory resurfacing. Like an old friend returning from a long trip. To your dog, it's not just that blue ball from Tuesday. It's wow, a new adventure. All over again. Science backs this up. Rotating toys keeps engagement high, lowers destructive boredom, and makes even the most basic playtime feel fresh. It's the same reason children light up when they find a toy at grandma's house they haven't seen in months. And the best part? It saves you money. less replacing, less guilt, more joy. But even rotating toys has its limits. Because what if what your dog really wants, what actually strengthens the bond between you two, isn't a thing at all? What if it's just a moment, quiet still, and one look that says more than words ever could? Number 5. Gaze into their eyes. There's a kind of silence that speaks louder than any sound. It's the silence that passes between two beings who know each other without needing to explain. You've felt it, haven't you? That pause when your dog looks up at you. Not for food, not for play, but just to look. To see if you're there, really there. And maybe you look back. Maybe it lasts a second. Maybe you blink and smile. But in that small window, something extraordinary happens. Something scientists actually measured. They took dogs, and their people put them in a quiet room and let them gaze at each other. Not with commands or tricks, just eye to eye. They measured the oxytocin levels, the so-called love hormone, before and after. And guess what? The longer they stared, the higher those levels climbed. In both the dog and the human. It's the same chemical released between mothers and babies. It's biology's way of whispering, this bond is real. This bond is safe. That means every quiet glance you share with your dog isn't just affection. It's medicine. It's connection. It's wiring love deeper into both your hearts. Now think about that. You don't need to say anything. You don't need to do anything. You just need to be there and see them. Really see them. But here's the catch. This only works when you're fully present. Not half-scrolling your phone. Not muttering good dog while answering emails. It takes 1 minute of your attention. One soft look. And in return, you get a moment that sinks deep into their soul. Still eyes close eventually. Night falls, and when the world gets quiet, another question arises: where should your dog sleep? And what does that choice say about the bond you share? Number 6. Let them sleep next to you. There's something ancient about sharing sleep. Long before alarm clocks and orthopedic mattresses, creatures huddled together for warmth, for safety, for peace. Your dog remembers that. Not in thought, but in instinct. In the way they curl beside you like a comma in a sentence you haven't finished yet. In how they sigh deep-settled when your breath slows and the lights go out. And it's not just comfort. Science backs it. Dr. Dana Varble, Chief Veterinary Officer for the North American veterinary community, says pets that sleep with their humans show deeper trust and stronger bonds. Their bodies release oxytocin and dopamine, those same feel-good chemicals we've seen in mothers, in lovers, in children, safe in the arms of someone they believe in. So when your dog sleeps by your side, they're not just being cozy. They're participating in a ritual older than memory itself. A kind of quiet ceremony that says, I belong here. You're mine, and I'm yours. 45% of dog owners already do it. Not because they read a study. Because something inside just knew. But here's where it gets interesting. What you do before and after sleep matters just as much. Because while nighttime is about trust and rest, the daytime is where routine holds everything together. So let me ask you, does your dog know what's coming next each day? Or do they live in a fog of unpredictability, hoping you remember the walk, the meal, the door they need opened? Because the next key to happiness is rhythm. Number 7. Keep a simple, predictable routine. Some dogs don't wear watches, but they know when dinner's late. You've seen it, the pacing, the stare, that almost human sigh as they wait by the bowl or nudge the leash by the door. And it's not because they're being dramatic. It's because to a dog routine isn't just preference. It's safety. Dogs live in a world they can't control. They don't decide when the food appears or when the walk happens, or if today's the day you're gone, for 5 minutes or 5 hours. So they build their world around you, around what happens every day in roughly the same way. And when that rhythm breaks, when the clock slips, even just a little, they feel it. Their nervous system feels it. Their heart rate picks up. Their eyes watch you a little harder, trying to read your next move like a weathered map. But when routine holds, they relax. They breathe deeper. They trust. Researchers have seen it over and over. Dogs with stable routines show fewer signs of anxiety, fewer behavior issues, and greater emotional resilience. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be strict. But it has to exist. Wake, walk, feed, play, rest, repeat. Like a steady heartbeat beneath the day. But here's the twist. Routine is a comfort, but too much of it can start to feel like a cage. Even the most loyal dog can get restless, curious, hungry for something new. So what if the next piece of their happiness came not from what stays the same, but from what surprises them? Number 8. Add new sights, smells, and experiences. Even the steadiest heartbeat craves a little skip now and then. Your dog might love routine, but they were also born to explore, to sniff out trails where no one else looks, to follow their nose into the unknown and return with something you can't see but they can feel. A new patch of grass, a sidewalk with yesterday's story still clinging to the curb, the breeze from the lake instead of the usual alley behind the mailbox. These things matter, because to a dog, the world isn't built in pixels and screens. It's made of smell, of shifts in air, of the thrill of a different path beneath their paws. Scientists studied over 2,000 border collies across 4 years and found that dogs' desire for novelty begins to fade in middle age. But in their younger years, new experiences light them up, keep them curious, sharpen their brains. And even in older age, gentle change, a new park bench, a slow stroll in a different neighborhood can brighten the day like sun through old windows. So, if your dog's been a little dull lately, maybe they don't need a new toy. Maybe they need a new Tuesday, a route they've never walked, a scent trail they've never followed, a tree they've never marked, but instantly claim as theirs. Just remember, new doesn't have to be big. It just has to be different. Still, adventure can tire a body. And even a good day wears down the legs. So once they've explored, once they've sniffed and strolled and sighed with contentment, there's something else they crave next. Not stimulation, not a surprise, but a quiet place to land. Number 9. Create a place that feels like theirs. Every soul needs a corner of the world that says you belong here. For us, it might be a favorite chair by the window, a porch swing, a side of the bed we never sleep on, but always lean toward. For your dog, that space might be simpler, but it matters just as much. Not just a place to crash, a sanctuary, a little patch of floor or fabric that tells them, this is yours and it's safe. It doesn't have to be fancy. No need for monogrammed pillows or themed dog beds shaped like castles. What matters is ownership that feeling dogs get when they know this spot holds their scent, their warmth, their rhythm. It could be a corner with a blanket that smells like you. A low, quiet space where the house hums softer. A crate that isn't a cage, but a den where light filters in gently and no one bothers them when they curl up tight. Studies show dogs with designated safe spaces exhibit lower cortisol levels, the stress hormone, and fall asleep faster, deeper. Because when a dog knows where they can go, they spend less time worrying about where they should be. But here's where the magic grows. That space becomes even more sacred when it carries the echo of your presence. a worn shirt, a soft recording of your voice, even a pillow from your side of the bed. It's not decoration, it's emotional furniture. But let me ask you this, when your dog settles into that space, when they're calm and content, how do they stay in that state when you're not home? Because the next key to their happiness isn't just physical comfort, it's emotional continuity, something that bridges the gap between your presence and your absence without batteries or screens. Number 10. Use your voice to comfort, even when you're not there. There's a tone in your voice that only your dog knows. It's not the words, not the commands, it's the rhythm, the softness, that quiet music that plays in your throat when you say their name just right. And they remember it. Long after you've left the house, that sound lingers in them like a familiar tune you can't forget. It hums under their ribs. It paces with them as they wait by the door. Science tells us dogs respond to tone more than language. A sweet, calm voice lowers their stress. A tense, clipped one. It spikes it. But what happens when you're gone, and your voice goes silent? Well, maybe it doesn't have to. Some owners are using simple recorders, soft-spoken messages, even low-volume speakers to let their dogs hear them while they're away. A gentle, good girl playing once in a while. A steady stream of words they recognize, not commands, but comfort. Now, this isn't about high-tech pet cams barking robot voices. This is about real you. Familiar, safe, soft. One study compared toys, treat dispensers, and automated voice devices. The voice alone didn't win. But when paired with something physical like a long-lasting chew or a shirt that smells like you, it helped bridge the emotional gap. It became part of a ritual, a way for your dog to know you're not here. But you haven't left me. It's not perfect. Nothing replaces presence. But even a whisper of you is better than silence. Still, even with scent and sound and softness, dogs need challenge. Not stress, but purpose. Something to figure out. Something to solve. Because the next thing that makes them happy, it's older than obedience. It's deeper than training. It's thinking. Number 11. Give them problems to solve your dog. May not speak your language, but make no mistake, they're thinkers. Behind those soft eyes and tilted head is a brain built for pattern curiosity and little mysteries. And when that brain doesn't get something to do, it looks for trouble. Not out of mischief, but out of need. It's easy to forget. We see their cuddly side, their nap-in-the-sunlight self. But underneath that calm is an animal bred for purpose. Herding, hunting, watching, solving. So give them something to figure out. It doesn't have to be complicated. Hide a treat under a towel. Place kibble under tennis balls in a muffin tin. Fill a Kong and freeze it like a puzzle waiting to be cracked. And then just watch. Watch how they sniff nudge paws. How they light up when the treat finally falls free. It's joy, yes, but it's also satisfaction, fulfillment. Like they earned that bite, not just got handed it. In one study, dogs were shown to prefer working for treats, solving a task over just being given the same food. Scientists called it contra-freeloading. I call it dignity, purpose. That quiet pride a dog carries when they know they did something. And the best part, these little games don't just burn energy, they build connection. You become part of the challenge, the partner in the hunt, the human who sees their intelligence, not just their obedience. But here's the thing, just like people, dogs can get stuck in routines, even with puzzles. So what happens when the game becomes too easy or too hard? What if you could meet them right where they are and help their body and brain fire together in one beautiful rhythm? Number 12. Combine brain games with physical play. There's a look dogs get when their whole body wakes up, not just the legs or the tail, but the mind too. It's that spark behind the eyes. The bounce that isn't just muscle but meaning. That's what happens when thinking meets movement. Not just a fetch tossed blindly, or a command barked like a drill, but true play where your dog has to figure something out, then move through it. Start with something simple, a Kong stuffed deep with treats and frozen overnight. Now, it's not just food, it's a challenge. Their paws press teeth, tug tongue works like a little machine, trying to outsmart the design. Or try hide and seek not with toys, but with you. Ask them to stay, then disappear into another room. Call their name and listen to the scamper. The joy when they find you isn't just about reunion. It's about victory. In these moments, their body stretches, their senses sharpen, and their brain fires like a well-tuned engine. The whole dog wakes up, and they look at you like a teammate, not a commander. Science tells us dogs who play brain-based physical games show higher endorphin levels and stronger attachment to their humans. But you don't need a lab coat to see it. You'll see it in how they look at you after. Like you get them. Like you're speaking their language at last. Still, all this movement needs balance. Even the happiest dog can't chase forever. Muscles grow tired. Minds get full. So what if happiness also came from stillness? Not just where your dog moves, but where they get to stop. And more importantly, who they stop beside. Number 13. Be their safe place to rest. Every creature, no matter how wild or playful, needs somewhere to exhale. For some, it's a cave. For others, a corner. And for your dog, it might be right next to your feet, where the world hums quiet and your presence is the only roof they need. You've seen it that moment after the chase, after the game when they come to you and melt. Their body softens. Their breath deepens. It's not just fatigue. It's trust. They rest because they believe you're watching the world while they sleep. In the animal kingdom, only the safest places earn that kind of surrender. And for a domesticated dog, that place is you. It doesn't mean you have to be touching them all the time. Sometimes it's just being in the same room. Reading. Listening to the radio. Letting the silence stretch long enough that they forget the world was ever loud. And here's something few people realize. This kind of quiet companionship is healing for them and for you. It lowers heart rate. It balances hormones. It reminds both bodies that there is no threat, not here, not now. You become the calm. But even in this rest, dogs stay tuned in. Their ears twitch. Their nose catches every breeze. Their body rests, but their instincts listen. So here's a question most dog owners never ask. What are your walks actually telling your dog? Because the next secret to a dog's happiness isn't how far you walk. It's how much you let them lead. Number 14. Let them sniff without rushing. To us, a walk is just exercise. Steps on a tracker. Minutes on a leash. But to a dog, a walk is a novel. Every blade of grass is a paragraph. Every lamppost, a plot twist. That bush by the corner. It's chapter 4 of a story. Another dog started yesterday. And when we tug the leash, come on, let's go. We're closing the book before they've finished the page. But here's what science has quietly revealed. Sniffing isn't a distraction. It's therapy. It slows their heart rate. It engages memory. It releases calming chemicals in their brain that no toy or treat can replicate. One study showed dogs on a long leash, 16 feet, sniffed up to 280%, more than those on a short 5-foot lead. And the more they sniffed, the calmer their heart became. Literally. Their pulse slowed. Their body softened. So, if you're walking your dog just to get them moving, that's fine. But if you want to make them happy, give them time to read the world. Let them pause. Let them choose the direction. Let them follow that invisible thread of scent until their nose says enough. Because for your dog, sniffing isn't wandering. It's understanding. It's their way of making sense of things too big to see. Still, even with all that freedom, there's something else they crave. Not a longer leash, not a new trail, but your attention. Because as much as they love the world outside, what they really want is to know you see them too. Number 15. Give them undivided attention. There's a difference between being near someone and being with them. You can sit in the same room for hours, feet apart, hearts miles away. And your dog knows the difference. They don't measure love by how long you're home. They measure it by how deeply you're there. They know when your hands are scrolling, when your eyes flick toward a screen, when your voice says their name, but your mind is somewhere else entirely. And it's not just a feeling, they can smell your distraction. Literally. Studies have shown dogs can detect changes in our emotional state by scent alone. Stress, sadness, distant energy. They don't always know why we're not with them, but they know we're not. So here's the simplest gift you can give. 5 minutes. Just 5. No phone, no chores, no multitasking. Just you and them. Sit on the floor. Look into their eyes. Speak gently. Let your hand move across their fur without rushing. Tell them a story even if they don't understand the words, because they understand the tone. And watch what happens. Their shoulders drop. Their tail curls a little looser. Their breathing syncs with yours. The space between you shrinks until it disappears completely. That's presence. And presence is power. But presence doesn't always mean stillness. Sometimes it means play, movement, a dance between your body and theirs that releases joy like sunlight breaking through clouds. So the next time you want to show your dog love, don't just sit with them. Move with them. Number 16. Play together like it matters. Play isn't a luxury. It's language. It's how your dog says, "I trust you enough to be silly." It's how they invite you back into a world where joy doesn't need a reason. Too often we treat play like a side dish, a maybe later. Something we toss between errands or rush through on the lawn. But to your dog, play is sacred. It's bonding. It's how packmates become partners. How tension dissolves without a single word. And when you play like it matters, with focus, with intention, with heart, you give them more than exercise. You give them yourself. So grab the rope and let them win sometimes. Toss the ball even if it lands in the mud. Let your voice rise your face, loosen your laugh, come out full. They don't care if you're clumsy. They care that you're present. Research backs it too. Interactive play between humans and dogs spikes oxytocin, the same chemical that binds mothers to newborns. It also increases trust and improves recall, which means your dog listens better because they feel closer. It's not training. It's connection. And here's the beautiful twist. The more you play with them, the more they learn how to play on their own. They become more confident, more curious, less needy, but somehow more bonded. But play, like all things, comes in waves. And after the running, the wrestling, the rolling, comes a kind of peace. That moment when your dog finds their rhythm again. When their breath evens out. When they curl up by your feet and the world feels just right. So here's the question. Can food bring that same peace? Number 17. Feed for comfort, not just calories. Feeding a dog isn't just about filling a bowl, it's a ritual, a rhythm, a quiet promise that says I'll take care of you no matter what. And your dog knows it. They watch you move toward the cupboard with the same quiet hope every time. They memorize the sound of the scoop, the shape of your steps, the tilt of your hand. Because to them, food isn't just fuel. It's affection made visible. But there's something even deeper you can offer comfort through the way you feed. Long-lasting chews, puzzle feeders, a slow lick of peanut butter on a mat while the day winds down. These aren't just fun, they're soothing. They help your dog self-regulate. They release endorphins. They give their mouth something to do when the world feels too still. One study put dogs in different situations when left alone. Some got a toy, some a dispenser, and some a chew that kept them focused for minutes at a time. The dogs with the chew calmer, quieter, more emotionally balanced. Because chewing is instinct. It's therapy. It's how your dog returns to center. And when you combine it with your presence, your voice, your smell, it becomes a full circle of comfort. A space where they feel fed, not just in body, but in heart. But even comfort, like anything else, can grow stale if it never evolves. So let's turn towards something that surprises them, that reawakens their mind one scent at a time. Not a toy, not a treat, but a trail. Number 18. Turn meals into scent-based adventures. To us, mealtime is simple. Plate, fork, done. But to your dog, food isn't just a need. It's an experience, a moment where instinct comes alive, a ritual that when given just a little twist can light up their whole nervous system. You don't need fancy equipment, no subscription boxes or complicated recipes. All you need is scent. Dogs were born to sniff, to search, to follow trails that tell stories in invisible ink. So what if instead of dropping food in a bowl, you scattered it, a piece behind the couch, a few under the coffee table, one or two beneath a blanket? Suddenly, mealtime becomes a mission. Their nose leads, their mind sharpens, their paws move with purpose. It's called scavenger feeding, and behaviorists have found it can reduce anxiety, slow down gulping, and bring structure to indoor time. It's stimulation without overstimulation, effort that feels like play. Some dogs love sniffing out a full trail before dinner. Others enjoy a midday find-it game with tiny treats. There's no one right way. Only the reminder that food doesn't have to come easy to bring joy. Sometimes the search is the best part. And the beauty of this ritual, you can do it anywhere. Rainy day. No problem. Stuck inside, even better. You become the landscape. The world unfolds one piece of kibble at a time. But when the nose has done its work and the belly is full, there's one final happiness waiting to be unlocked. It's not about food, not about scent, not even about toys. It's about company. Number 19. Let them be social in their own way. Not every dog wants a crowd. Not every wag is an invitation. But make no mistake, dogs are social beings. They don't just want playmates, they want belonging. You've seen it how they light up when they meet a neighbor's dog they recognize. Or how their tail starts that slow, hopeful rhythm when someone familiar walks by. It's not just curiosity. It's a quiet longing to connect. But here's the catch: connection looks different for every dog. Some want to wrestle and run noses down and legs flying. Others just want to sniff and sit close, sharing space in that unspoken way old souls do. And some are content to just watch, ears up, hearts soft, soaking it in without ever needing to touch. So give them the choice, the moment, the room to be social on their own terms. Set up gentle play dates. Meet a friend at the park. Let your dog say hello or not. Let them lead. Let them decline without guilt. Because the joy isn't in how many dogs they meet. It's in knowing they can. Studies show that socially engaged dogs, whatever that means for them, show better emotional regulation, less reactivity, and even stronger bonds with their humans. Because when a dog feels like they have a pack, even a quiet one, they don't feel like they're carrying the world alone. And after the greetings, the sniffs, the subtle dances of trust, they'll come back to you. Softer, happier, like they found a part of themselves and brought it home. But even then, their day isn't quite complete. Because there's one more thing they still long for. Not a voice, not a scent, not another dog, but a simple, loving touch in just the right spot. Number 20. Find their favorite spot to be touched. Every dog has a secret button. You know the one. Maybe it's behind the ears where the fur is velvet soft and their eyes close without meaning to. Maybe it's just above the tail, where a scratch sends their hips into that slow, grateful sway. Or maybe for your dog it's under the chin where no one reaches but you. Touch for a dog isn't casual. It's conversation. It says things words can't. Things like, "You're safe," or "I see you," or simply, "I'm here." And when you find the place their body leans into, when their whole posture shifts from ready to relaxed, that's where trust lives. It's not always obvious. Some dogs love belly rubs. Others stiffen at first unsure. Some carry stories in their skin, memories of rough hands or cold neglect. But patience changes everything. Gentle, open hands. Soft tone. Letting them guide you, not the other way around. Science has a name for what happens next: endorphin release. Just like in humans, touch, when wanted, calms the nervous system, regulates breathing, eases tension they didn't even know they carried. And here's the part most people miss when you touch them in their favorite spot. They don't just feel good, they feel known. It's the difference between petting a dog and loving one. So slow down. Find that spot. Stay there for a moment longer than you think you need. Let your hand speak without hurry. Because all the games, the treats, the walks, the puzzles, they matter. But this is where the bond lives. And maybe, just maybe, the next time someone asks why your dog is so happy all the time, you'll smile and say, "Because I finally learned how to listen." So now you know. It's not the brand of the toy, not the size of the backyard, not even how many treats fit in your pocket. It's your scent in the quiet of the house. It's the music you leave playing. It's the way your eyes pause just long enough to say, "I'm here with you." It's your dog, learning that happiness doesn't come in big gestures. It comes in small, steady kindnesses. And maybe, just maybe, the truest thing we can give them is ourselves. Not the busy version, not the distracted version, but the version that listens, notices, loves softly and without condition. Because at the end of the day, your dog doesn't need you to be perfect. They just need you to show up. And you did. You watched. You listened. You cared enough to learn 20 small ways to make their world brighter. So if this video gave you something useful, or something that made you nod in quiet agreement, stick around. At Dog Facts and Fun, we don't just love dogs. We honor them. With science. With stories. With little things that make a big difference. Subscribe if you haven't. Not for us. For them, for the tail wags and nose bumps and deep sighs of a dog who feels understood. Because if we've learned anything, it's that the ones who say the least are often the ones who need us the most.